Hey, today we're going to focus on the standing big toe pose, built up for beginners and those that would like to work on the technique of this challenging posture. So I'm going to give a couple of options today with a belt. If you don't have a belt, you could try using some sort of a scarf, or I'll also provide options of the postures without the belt. If you do have a belt, then you can just make a little loop with the belt so that that's ready for when we need it. So you can begin by coming to lie down on your back. And we're going to begin with the knees both coming in to the chest and just making some slow circles with the knees. So hands could just be resting on the knees here if you like. Finding a nice steady rhythm for your breath. And then making a few circles in the opposite direction. Now we're going to keep our right knee hugging in, extend the left leg out on the ground, using the help of the hands to guide the knee a little closer to the chest, and then extending the right leg and hugging the left knee in. We'll do this a few times. So using the inhale to draw the right knee in, exhale, release, inhale, left knee, and exhale to release. So you can just do this at your own time. You could do this with both legs kind of moving at the same time if you like. Feel quite nice to just add a little bit more sort of dynamic movements. And then the next time you hug the right knee into your chest, you can just pause here with the hands again, just above the knee. Now here we're going to have the option to use the belt. So if you do have a belt, you can find your loop, bring the loop around the foot, and then holding the belt and slowly extend the belt out in front. If you don't have a belt, you can just be holding somewhere kind of the belly of the thigh, pressing the foot away. Like I said, a scarf or even a pair of tights actually could be kind of giving this same effect. And we're pressing, the nice thing with the belt is we can kind of have the shoulders a bit more relaxed and press the foot out into the belt. If it doesn't feel comfortable for the leg to be totally extended, feel free to bend the knee a little. But there's this kind of feeling over time of working on extending out through the leg. And then we'll just rock the leg a little from side to side here. There's one part that feels a little tighter. So for me, it's when the foot goes a little more in, I feel this tightness. So you could just kind of pause here. And then slowly leg comes through the middle, you can release. And we'll change sides. So left leg comes in. You can take the belt around the foot here, or holding the belly of the thigh. If you've got the belt there, you can press the foot actively out into the belt. And if you're just holding the thigh, foot can still be pressing actively towards the ceiling. Again, if hamstring feels a little tighter, you could have the knee a little bent. If the leg is shaking a little, don't worry too much. And then we'll just start to move the leg a little out from side to side. So this can be quite helpful to just see where perhaps any restrictions are. And then if you want to pause with the foot maybe a little to the side, you could do that. And then slowly releasing the belt and hugging both knees gently into your chest. We'll rock up to sitting, so you can cross the legs. Exhale, rock back. Inhaling, coming up. Exhale. And inhale. Exhale. And inhale. Doing this one more time. And then this time coming up to your seated position. So we're going to come now up to standing. Just have the belt to one side if you've got one. And we're going to be setting up now our foundation to balance on one leg like we're going to be doing when we're doing the standing to big toe pose. So weight can shift into the left leg. You want to spread the toes of the left foot. And then you're slowly just lifting your right knee up. See if you can activate that left leg. So left leg might want to bend and drop a little, so see if you can press up, lengthen up out through that leg. And then exhale, release, and change sides. So shifting the weight to the right leg, lift that left leg up, see if you can really extend up out through your right leg also. And then releasing. And we'll do this a couple of times to each side. So the next time we balance on the right leg, we're going to pause a few breaths in the pose. You can hold here the belly of the thigh. And just seeing if you can really find that steady balance in your right leg and a little bit of firmness through your belly. And you might work a little on extending the left leg and drawing it back. Doing this a few times. This can be quite nice to just create that space here. Great. And then you can slowly release and shake through the legs. Changing sides, so balancing now on the left leg. Inhale, right knee comes up, pausing here. Holding the belly of the thigh, so we really lift again up here. We're protecting a little the hamstrings with our hands. And then you can just try a few times, bringing that right foot forward. Right. There really is kind of this balance we're working on. We don't just need flexibility here, there's also sort of element of strength, and that can be pretty nice with this more fluid movement. And then you can slowly release and shake again through the legs. Now here's where we've got the option again for the belt. And if you don't have the belt, you can do this without. So if you were to do it without anything, you can just be bringing the leg forward kind of without. If you do have the belt, you have the loop. You step the foot into the loop, so you're kind of holding the belt with your right hand, and left hand can come on the left hip. And then we're just lifting the foot up. As you lift the foot up, you can balance on that standing leg, and then you've got a little bit that support of the belt. Now, if the leg feels like it's cramping, you could just have the leg a little bent and still be working on the balance, and over time kind of seeing how it feels to extend. Also, if you're a little lower here, this is also a nice place to work. So then you might be able to have that space to straighten the leg, but with the belt, we can still keep a little bit of tension through that leg. And then you can slowly release and we'll change sides. So you can bring the left foot into the belt, balancing through that right leg. So still keeping your standing leg nice and steady. And then slowly starting to bring your left foot forward. Yeah. So like we were doing with when we were lifting the knee when it was bent, see if you can lengthen up out through that standing leg. Whoop. Keep that balance through the big toe. And then you've got that, if you're using the belt, you've got that possibility to walk the hands up the belt. So this really gives a little bit more space to gradually come into the posture. You can be working again on balancing that flexibility and that strength. And then slowly exhaling, release, shaking the legs and just releasing down with your belt. Now, finally, we're going to come to the full posture now. And even within this full posture, there's a few different options. So we're balancing again on the left leg. Like we did before, we're going to bring the right knee up to the chest. Now, we're going to bring our hand now on the inside towards the big toe. Seeing if you can lengthen up out through that left leg, draw the right knee a little more up. So that really gives you that sort of foundation here and stability. Left hand is on the left hip. And then you're slowly working to extend that right leg. And the leg can be a little bent here. It's absolutely no problem. If it's comfortable, you could kind of work a little more on lengthening through the leg. And then again, if you're sinking, see if you can lengthen and lift up. And if for whatever reason you can't hold the big toe, you could stay here with the knee. Maybe have the hand on the inside this time, so creating a little bit more space. And then on the exhale, you can slowly release, shake a moment the legs, and coming to the opposite side. So we're going to balance now on our right leg. And we're going to be lifting up our left leg. So left knee comes up, left hand comes on the inside towards the big toe. Big toe isn't available, just hold wherever on the leg and that is available. Find your foundation by lengthening up through that standing leg, finding that firmness also through your abdomen. And then you're pressing the big toe towards your hand and you're extending the leg out away. If the leg is straight or bent, don't worry, you can be working in the posture with both options. And then you're seeing if your hip, so it's your left hip, wants to draw a little back. So there might be this feeling of kind of leaning forward. See if you can draw that left hip back, lengthen a little bit more out through that standing leg. And then exhale, slowly releasing and shaking the legs. And then from here, you can come to lie down on the back for a well-earned Savasana. So just taking a moment to close the eyes, softening through your breath. And then you can be, when you're ready, slowly wiggling fingers, wiggling your toes, reaching the arms overhead, giving the body a nice, gentle stretch, maybe taking a deep breath or a yawn. And then from here, rolling over onto one side and coming up to a seated position. So thanks so much for joining me. I hope you enjoyed this practice. The standing big toe pose is quite a challenging one, the full position. It requires a lot of strength and flexibility. So if you're not quite there yet, don't worry too much. I hope you can kind of enjoy the process. be practicing some of the preparation postures to really help give the time for the body to open up and strengthen. So yeah, let me know in the comments how you got on. And if you're interested, do check out my free resource of a yoga at home guide, giving you tips and short practices to really kickstart your home yoga practice. I'll see you next time. Bye.